What's up, you guys? It's good to just coming up to you with a Yubel deck profile. I just went undefeated at my locals today, so I figured I'd bring profile. One key, or I'll say two keynotes. While actually sorting out the cards with this deck profile, I realized I actually screwed up some of my ratios. Still, obviously went undefeated, did fine. I'll note that when I talk about the certain cards that I used today. Um, also, of course, your side decks are always going to be dependent on your, specific locals, things like that. And I even tailored my extra deck for today's specific local. I was expecting to see a lot of mirror matches. Did not see one mirror match. Those players never actually showed up today, so felt like it kind of hurt me in the other matchups. But again, was still able to go undefeated. Went undefeated. I went 3 wins, no losses, and a tie. We tied against it was Lightsworn Horse, and then we won against like a plant pile. We won against Voiceless Voice, and in the finals we beat Tempai. I feel like in the Tempai matchup, I will be honest, it will be uploaded at some point, probably later this week. I did the guy I was playing against, he did misplay, and honestly, it should have been game. But we live and we learn. I told him right after, like, if you just did this, it was pretty much like GG from there. But yeah, so let's just get into the bread and butter of this. So of course, we're gonna start with 3 Samsara, pretty standard. And then we are gonna have 3 Squirmers. Honestly, it might be the best, or arguably the best extender in the game at the moment. We were running 3 Spirit of Yubel. I main 3. Sometimes I find myself like cutting it down to 2, like in siding processes. But for like maining, I'm sticking at 3 right now. 1 OG Yubel and 1 Terror Incarnate. For Dark Beckoning Beast package, I'm running 3 Dark Beckoning Beast. This is one part where my ratios are messed up. Running 2 Fenrir. It's supposed to be 3. I just forgot to put the third one in. I forgot to put the third one into this, and I left the third in of something else that I'll make note of later. But yeah, so today running 2 Fenrir. They worked perfectly. Even running it 2, I saw them a good amount of times. This card, like, technically you play into Nib more. Not that we really care about Nib anymore with Phantom and all that stuff. We play Insulated, or even like after getting Nib, we still have extension through Nib. So playing through into Nib doesn't really bother me with this deck. But this card, with the not only being on the board applying pressure to the opponent, the fact that like you search for another copy, and because we have effects that include discarding so much, like sometimes you'll do like 3 effects that include discarding a card. So being able to just be able to search for more discard fodder is great. But this should have been at 3 today. Just 1 Shavara. Not running the blue dog yet. Once the Fiendsmith comes out, I think I might be running the red and the blue. 3 Ash Blossom. Pretty standard. 3 Veiler. It sounds kind of dumb. Obviously, well, main decking Veiler's never dumb. That's not what I'm about to say, but maybe it's not a good way to side, but a lot of times going first, I'll actually like take these out and for other hand traps that are more like that I can use on my turn as well. Besides, because I feel like if I open with these, it's sometimes not the greatest. Like, it's not bad, obviously, if you can end on disruption, but if I end on like 2 Veilers and no gas, or like going first, it just doesn't feel good. We have 3 Thrones and the Terraforming, since we can't search for it with any of our in-engine, so only way to search for it is Terraforming. This is where my other ratio got screwed up. I was running 3 Nightmare Pain, and I was wondering why I was seeing it a lot in my hand. This should be at 2. Again, we were running at 3. Still worked out. It's not that you can't run it at 3. It's just that opening too many of them could be a little bricky. And the fact that like you can search for eventually this can go down to 1, especially when the Fiendsmith stuff comes out. But right now, I'd probably run it at 2. But today just happened to run it at 3. Other half of the Dark Beckoning Beast package, I'm running 2 gates. I know a lot of people running 3. I just don't want to open 3. Especially because like I'd rather open the beast to search for this, and then I can add another one, and I can just keep recycling it back. 1 for 1, just in case. Call by the Grave, because Call by is great. And then 2 Super Polys. I'm still running the Super Polys, especially because I was expecting mirrors today. So you'll even see in the side deck, I was just ready for a Super Poly war to try to out Super Poly my Yubel mirrors. For the traps, 1 Eternal Favorite. It's very good for the grind game. For some reason, I mean, I guess it makes sense. A lot of times when people have a choice of like what they want to hit in the back row, a lot of times they'll just go for this instead of the Nightmare Pain, which makes sense because I'm just going to keep reoccurring on every turn to be able to set up like Link plays or XZ plays. But it helps keep the Nightmare Pain on the field because I feel like people will prioritize this. So then they have to like either just play everything in defense if they can't out the Nightmare Pain in your Yubels. The chamber for the Unchained lineup. I'm not a big fan of Escape. Chamber I love because I like to be able to link away. The Soul Rage going first to make other link plays, you know, and then being able to revive it from the graveyard on my opponent's turn with this. Came up clutch today. I got Dark Rulered while Soul Rage was in my graveyard. So I was able to bring this out and still able to stop my opponent from being able to win. And then best hand trap, 3 Ember. For the extra deck, for links, just 1 Salmon Great. Didn't come up at all today, but there are a lot of times where it will come up. Honestly, sometimes I wish, or sometimes I was like, this is like more universal in terms of like normal summon, Squirmer, or Beckoning, or whatever to get the, you know, link this to have something engraved. Sometimes I wish this was All Mirage, because a lot of times it's not so much my Dark Beckoning Beast that gets stopped. I had moments where like I had a hand where it was everything, like just useless spells and 1 Squirmer, and I was like, dang, I wish I could just Squirmer, All Mirage, take, and try to do something instead of just like passing turn, but you need All Mirage. For the Unchained stuff, 1 Yama, 1 Soul of Rage, and 1 Anguish. And then, of course, the SP Little Knight for the Soul of Rage play. Access Code Talker, because we need to be able to OTK. Sometimes it's a little hard to OTK when the opponent has an open board. So this makes it a lot easier. 1 Apollosa, she does come up. I didn't use her today, but there are a lot of instances where she will come up. Maybe not so much now that we have Phantom. But if you can do like Phantom plus a bunch of negates with this and maybe Verujas, it's pretty gross. Muckracker is insane. This card came up a ton today, especially for the next card that we'll see, which was like MVP for the day. Muckracker was great against like when I have basically all Link monsters and they go Lightning Storm, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna throw this over here. Muckracker is amazing. MVP of the day, Nightmare Griffin. I had a few rounds today where my opponent would lock me with some kind of card, like I was playing as plants. They hit me with Cactus Bouncer, and I was just like, yeah, I guess I'm not playing today. Went to next game, I hit him with Griffin, and then he couldn't play. Same thing with my in the finals with Tempai. They bring out that 1 dragon they use for Edison where you can't special summon lights and darks. Pretty much had the scoop. We went game 3. I made Griffin, and he couldn't play. For the XEs, Varudras, the must. This card is another, it's just a standard card in this deck. It's MVP. Like, usually I'll try to, like, wait out, like, the best time to negate things, or, like, I try to hold on to his negate the longest, because I feel like the opponent is really trying to bait you into using this, and then eventually they'll bring down that one card where you have to negate it, and when you do, it ends their turn. One cannon, he still comes up. Sometimes even in a board state where they just have a big monster, and you just Nightmare Pain, Yubel, pop, make this, burn. One me game today. Two Phantoms. There's an argument to run 3. I feel like 3 is way too much, but you could do it. The thing is, like, with Throne, you can actually technically recycle this back to the extra deck. But two is perfect. Honestly, this card was great today. It just insulated me from so much stuff. Like, a lot of times, I'm mostly, like, worried about Nib, or, like, if there is something that I need to go through, I could do it. But, like, this insulated me from Nib, so I just felt like I could play freely all day today. Running one Loving Defender. This was at 2 before the tournament started, and then I saw none of my Yubel buddies showed up, so I quickly switched it out. I kept 1 just in case, because I was still running Super Poly, and as you can see, no other Super Poly targets. There was multiple times today where Garou would have came in clutch, but didn't have it in. So last minute, I was actually able to pick up Chaos Angel. Had a chance to make it today. I got stopped in making it. But this card and Muckracker going second into boards is disgusting and great. Like, so you can have options to in terms of OTKing, like going into Chaos Angel or going into Access Code Talker. So it just gives us more OTK options, especially against open boards. And then for the side deck, again, the side deck's going to be very dependent on your locals. Obviously, there's some takeaways you can take about, like, key matchups to worry about. Like, I shouldn't be, but I get worried about Tenpai just only because they do have a lot of tech cards that do screw over Yubel, such as, like, Samurai Destroyer, random stuff like that, making the level 10 in the main. That way, like, you can't float in the battle phase. Like, there's a lot of stuff, and the field spell is scary because you just watch them play. So because of the field spell, you can main this, but right now I'm siding it. I'm running 3 Ogres. For the other hand trap, running 3 Nibs. It just has so much synergy with the deck. Especially if you're playing against a deck that doesn't run negates. When they hit their summons or end of their main phase, you hit them with this, give them a giant token, and just Yubel, Nightmare Pain, swing for game. Didn't come up at all today, but I decided in, just never saw it. The third Super Poly, again, for what I was expecting, Yubel mirrors, just never saw them. I needed 1 card to put in the extra deck, and I was like, or in the side deck, and I was like, you know what, let me just throw this in for the mirror match that I was expecting. 3 droplets. These are good, have good synergy with the deck, especially if you can send something off like Squirmer or anything like that, because you just special summon everything back anyway. Comes in clutch. This is mostly, this came in against other boards. I mainly have this in here for branded for Sanctifier Dragon. And then just back row hate. Just 1 Harpies, 1 Lightning Storm, and then we have 3 Cosmics. So that's my undefeated deck list. Obviously, as I said earlier, some of the ratios were actually kind of messed up now that I was doing the deck list and sorting things out. But if you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, just let me know down in the comments. Thank you and goodbye.